of people ask me about what they should do as far as ab work is concerned in their training. I know core work is a big in thing at the moment within the health and fitness industry, but I'm here to tell you right now, if you're into bodybuilding, forget all that, okay? If you look at a lot of people who do core work, they might not have a fat waist, but they'll be quite thick and barrel-like, okay? But so in bodybuilding, what we want is to keep our waist as small as possible, yeah? And if you look at the way a lot of people do their core work, you can see the stomach sticking straight out. You don't want that at all. For example, when we do a bicep curl, our biceps come out into a ball like that, yeah? Any exercise that makes your abs stick out like that, stay away from, believe me. So we'll go into the gym and I'll show you the right way and the wrong way to do the exercises, and I'll show you exactly what I did for my World Championships prep last year, where my waist was the smallest it's ever been. Okay, let's get into the gym. This is the first exercise that you really want to avoid. Anything with your feet hooked under, any pads, okay? You're gonna work your overwork your hip flexors for a start, but forget all that and just look at the stomach, the way it sticks out. Again, like I said, we want to keep it nice and flat in any exercise. Again, overworking the hip flexors, and look at the way the stomach protrudes when you're doing the exercise. Again, a definite no-no. Again, another exercise to avoid, overworking the hip flexors. The only way really the abdominals are contracting is to just hold your body in place. Again, making it protrude. Another one to avoid. Please avoid any exercise for the abs where you're using weight. They will react like any other muscle group and increase in size. Like I keep emphasizing, we want our abdominals to stay small and tight. Again, avoid any twisting movements. This is okay if you want to do some sport specific training, but again, when involved with bodybuilding, waist small, waist tight. This is Lisa demonstrating an exercise with a stability ball, which are quite popular in gyms these days. Again, this is a leg raise type of movement, so of course we're emphasizing the hip flexors as opposed to the abdominals. But again, you'll notice as she's performing the exercise, the abs are protruding as she's demonstrating here. So again, please avoid this type of movement. Okay, now we've seen how not to do the exercises and which exercise to avoid. I'll show you which exercises that I recommend that you do on a regular basis to keep your waist small and tight. All these next exercises are exercises that I personally used in my World Championships prep, where I told you that my waist was the smallest it's ever been. Okay, now we've got Lisa demonstrating what we call a frog crunch. As you can see, there's one foot on top of the other. The hips are opened out wide to activate the lower abs. And you can see she's doing almost like a vacuum first, sucking the abs right in and then crunching down. It's not a big movement, but that's all you need. Almost like an abs and thigh type movement. Make sure when you're performing this movement just to swap your feet from set to set. So one set you'd have your right foot on top, and the next set you'd have your left foot on top. The ab cradle is a really good piece of equipment to use if used properly. The secret is not to pull too hard on the apparatus itself, but just use it to support your head. And as you can see, the way Lisa's using it is keeping her airways open, and she can just concentrate on contracting the abdominals. Okay, you'll notice the movement is done in two stages. She'll come up, contract, then contract it again. And then also to work the obliques, you put your knees to the one side. Here she's working the obliques on the right hand side of her body. And again doing the two-stage movement, so contracting up, contracting again, and then coming back down in the 2 stages, and then working over to the obliques on the left hand side of the body. You'll notice she's keeping everything in line as much as possible, so the spine and the hips are nice and in line, and again not overdoing the movement so you're putting too much pressure on the spine when it's in that twisted position. As I said earlier, in the exercises to avoid, we don't want to use any weight when training abdominals, but if you look at the movement here with the arms out straight behind you, it gives you that little bit of extra resistance, but again not too much, so it makes the abdominals protrude. And again, if you notice the way the exercise is being performed, it really mimics an abs and thigh movement, and really feel the abdominals working on this one. If you really want to get some more lower abdominal activation in your crunching type movements, bring your knees up as Lisa's demonstrating in this video, but then make sure that you bring them around about a 45-degree angle. Keep them there. This keeps the lower abdominals activated when you're doing your crunching movements. But if you notice again, there's still that little bit of a pull in on the abdominals, and then the crunch up, blowing all the air out. If there's any movement that you do for abdominals, make sure you do this one. I firmly believe the vacuums that you're about to see definitely help my waist be the smallest it's ever been. So as you can see, Lisa demonstrating this exercise perfectly. Start it off when you're in first do these movements in a kneeling position. So you blow all your air out, and then basically suck in your stomach to try and touch your spine. From there we move on to the standing position. Again, very similar. You're blowing all your air out and then sucking in and trying to pull your stomach right into your spine and up under your ribs. Okay, so now we've seen the do's and don'ts as far as I recommend what you do for your ab training goes. And remember, as far as core work goes, if you're doing all your basic exercises in the gym, which we should be doing, your core, believe me, will be as strong as it's going to need to be. So do the exercises that I recommend and your waist will stay as small and tight as possible. Okay, thanks guys.